Hi everyone, Leonard Ulrich here with a very quick Volume 2 update. I'm very pleased to say, after 3 years, that the audio editing for Volume 2 is done. Now, that may not seem like a big announcement to you, but it is to me. You see, editing the audio, their narration part rather, for the film, is about 1 hour and 50 minutes worth of dialogue. And editing all that dialogue or narration is a result of hundreds of hours worth of work and thousands, if not tens of thousands of edits. For example, the gap between every single phrase that I'm saying in the film has been edited for absolute silence, and whenever I stutter, just like I did 10 seconds ago, I cut that out. And then I added compression and equalization and reverb and basically made my voice sound like it should be instead of like it usually is, which is rather hollow.
On September 10th, 2001, one day before 9/11, Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld announced from the Pentagon that $2.3 trillion was unaccounted for in the budget of the Department of Defense. One day later, the object that struck the Pentagon coincidentally hit the building's accounting division, making this loss impossible to trace.
So I'm very pleased to say that after 3 years of constantly trying and with health issues constantly preventing me from doing so, that the audio editing for Volume 2 is done. Now, you might be asking yourself, well, what's next? Well, what's next is shooting. I have already begun to test shoot here and there, and I'm very happy with the results that I'm getting, especially now that after about 9 months worth of off and on experimentation, I've begun to shoot in a mode called S-Log. Now, that may not mean much to you, but it's very, very difficult to pull off. You have to watch your exposure, you have to watch your colors, and you have to add color to everything that you shoot after you shoot it, because it makes the video look like film, and that is the whole point. So once you shoot in S-Log, and once you crop the frame to look like film, and once you add music, and let's just say a 3-axis gimbal to make the camera appear like it's floating in the air, well, you get movie magic, just like this. So now that the audio editing is done, now that the shot planning is in its stages, now that test shooting has already been taking place, I will, by about 3 weeks from now, wrap up all the main shooting for the film. There's not a whole lot of it required, because Volume 2 will have the same format as Volume 1, except with cinematic breaks whenever I try to explain something more or less abstract. So, when will the film be out? The answer is, I'm gunning for the mid-February release of the film, because that happens to be the date for the Winnipeg Reel to Reel Film Festival, in which I won Best Documentary, beating out 11 other films, even from Los Angeles and New York. So I'm gunning for another award this February. And that may seem like a bit of a disappointment to you, but keep in mind that I'm actually shooting 3 films in one. Now, I need to explain this here. There will be a secular version of my film, which I will give away to someone to edit in exchange for finances to help pay off the $25,000 I've invested in this film. I won't be advertising that secular version. It will just be what it is. And then there will be a commercial version of the film, and then there will be an internet version of the film. The internet version of the film is how I would like the film to be best seen. In other words, it will contain a whole bunch of copywritten material, which I get to include in the film because it's for non-commercial, educational reasons. The second version of the film will be the commercial version, in which I can't include copywritten news clips or clips from other copywritten sources, simply because I can't afford the filming license to incorporate all those clips. So in other words, the DVD or Blu-ray version of the film will have to involve me talking about clips or having simple black and white quotations from news sources on the screen, because I can't incorporate those clips without getting possibly sued. This is the way copyright law works. So in other words, everything is set for the film to be released months from now and not years from now. And I'm asking for your patience. I'm very eager to get this film out the door as much as you are to see it, because like I said, I've got about $25,000 in 3 years of my life wrapped up in this film. So there we have it. You have a quick sample of what it took to edit the audio of this film. You have a quick sample of what it's going to look like in terms of the cinematic aspect of the film. You already know that Volume 2 is going to have the same format as Volume 1. You have a rough release date. You know why I'm doing 3 different versions of the same film. And in the meantime, you'll see more and more samples of the film uploaded for your critiques and comments and suggestions. Please let me know whether or not releasing Volume 2 only in Blu-ray format is going to prevent you from buying a copy of the film. In other words, if you only have a DVD player and not a Blu-ray player, please let me know in the comments below. Simply because it's a lot more cost efficient to release only one version of the film, and I'd much rather stick to either Blu-ray or DVD and not both, because it costs a lot more. It's going to cost me several $1,000s just to produce and not burn, but actually stamp out and produce quality masters of the film for commercial release. So let me know whether or not releasing the film in Blu-ray only is going to prevent you from watching the film. In the meantime, thank you for your support. God bless all of you who understand that what we're getting on the TV news isn't the big picture, and what we can discuss in church isn't necessarily the big picture either, because we don't want to be political, but we want to be wrapping our faith in our national flag, which I think is another distortion. I'm going to leave you with just a little clip showing you as an example of just the insanity that is the world situation today. Check this out.
I think the biggest risk that comes from Russia's operations in Syria is an accidental conflict or an accidental skirmish with the US-led ISIS coalition. I think the biggest risk that comes from Russia's operations in Syria is an accidental conflict or an accidental skirmish with the US-led ISIS coalition. The US-led ISIS coalition. The US-led ISIS coalition.
And there you have it. I mean, for all those people who have told you that I won't believe that the United States is backing ISIS until I see it on CNN, well, there you go. Enjoy. Thank you very much for your prayers. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you for your generosity around the world. If you are led to do so, or if you would like to do so, you can make donations to Volume 2 at newworldordertruth.org. That's nwotruth.org. Click on the About tab and the Support tab within the About tab, and you will be directed to a PayPal link in which you can support the film. So in the meantime, God bless. You know what's up, and you know what's coming, and you know I'm motivated. See you soon.